Welcome to the Social Club, the last social club from the Premier League season. There'll be more social clubs, I just thought it was worth mentioning, when it clearly wasn't. So the big question we're going to ask, now that it's all done and dusted, was this the best or the worst Premier League season ever? There is no grey area here whatsoever. I want an unequivocal answer. Leicester went and won it. That was clearly the most magnificent thing that's ever happened in football, yada, yada, yada. But do we agree, is it the best or the worst season? What do you reckon?
It's the best, without doubt. It's been the most enjoyable, most even, most competitive Premier League in history. It's what competition is supposed to be. Most fans don't want to see the same team win it or a variation of four finishing in the top every single season. It was brilliant. I loved it. And that wasn't just down to Spurs having, by and large, a very good season. But the kind of fascination of watching Leicester win, despite it being, as it turns out, at the expense of Arsenal. It was just a fantastic season. Loved Leicester winning it in the long run. Loved the fact that Chelsea finished so low. It was great.
Yeah.
There was nothing from a neutral's perspective. You couldn't ask for a better Premier League season, in my opinion.
Well, we don't know. There are no neutrals. We know no neutrals. But you reckon? Because I can't disagree with look, Leicester winning it is so incredible for football, and it's totally restored my faith in the beauty of football and all that lovey-dovey bollocks. But I think as an actual season of Premier League football, I think it's the worst. I mean, look at it. There was no credible title challenge from anyone other than Leicester. So which I think takes the shine off them. If anything takes the shine off, it's that. I think ultimately, the teams that were going to finish in the top four pretty much finished where it was to be expected. I don't know. I just don't think. I don't think the level was good enough this year. I don't know. What do you reckon, Prem?
Well, when a bomb scares the biggest news on the last day of the season, it's shite, don't you? Personally, you know what I mean. No, I mean it's been a good season from a lot of points of view, but I think yesterday was a bit of an anticlimax, and I know it's not all about the final day, but you would have expected a few more challenges to happen on the final day of the season.
Yeah.
Leicester have been fantastic. It's been brilliant for the Premier League. But I don't really see, when you go back and you see the moments of a season, you see individual pieces of skill or big games or shocks. Apart from actually Leicester, which if you put up to one side is magnificent, the rest of it's been a little bit, been a bit average, to be honest. Yeah. And it's weird, I was saying this before, and it's not a dig at Arsenal, but Arsenal finished second, yet they had no credible title push all season, for me. And I think that says a lot about the league this season.
Well, that's I'm kind of driving at. Like I said, I'm not looking to poo-poo the achievement of Leicester in any way, shape or form, but I don't know. Look, and I don't know. Well, Robbie, what do you reckon? You're ultimately happy with how it ended.
No, of course I'm not happy with how it ended. I mean, it was a very one-sided season. Leicester won the league easily. That's the thing about it. They not only did they win the league, they won it easily. They're like 10 points ahead of everyone. They, won it with a couple of games to spare. Like you said, there was no last day drama or anything like that. And I think whilst Leicester were absolutely incredible, like you guys said, and it's kind of good for football that Leicester won, for football as a whole, I would sort of say that the standard, I don't think, has been very good well, actually, let me just rephrase it. I think the standard from the sort of teams that are sometimes considered like that second tier, so like Spurs, sorry, that weren't a dig, West Ham, teams like that, right? I thought that those teams performed like above.
Yeah.
They've improved so much. Right, and they really did take it to the so-called elite teams. Those so-called elite teams, for me, they were all rubbish. Yeah. They all underperformed. We were poor. Liverpool throughout the season's been poor. Manchester City were awful. Man United.
League? Yeah, that's the big question. Is this the league stretching out because the money's spreading out a lot more? So is this what we can expect?
Yeah. I'd say it's more competitive. Definitely more competitive, but I think in years gone by, some of those elite teams have had they've had quite a lot of world-class players, for instance, in their team. So that's enabled them a lot of times in those games to get over the line. I look at a team like, for instance, Manchester United at the moment. That's always been the team that's, in the Premier League era, they've been the best team, yeah? If you look at Manchester United's team right now, how many world-class players do they have in their team? The only one I can think of, world-class, is De Gea.
Yeah.
You've got Martial's an up-and-coming,
Rooney's on a great
could get there. Rooney's an ex-world-class player. Who else in that team is world-class? And I think now that teams like Leicester, Southampton, Spurs, they go to Man United, Arsenal, teams like that, and they say, hey, they're not much better
That's a
than
good
us.
point. I think a lot of the teams, the fear factor's gone from a lot of those big teams now. But I think the other point is, I think this is the first season we've really seen financial fair play, which is an irony because it's going out of the game now. But this is the first season where we've actually seen it affect those big clubs, because I don't think you can compete now in the Premier League and in Europe at the same time. I think those days are gone. We've seen Man City had to pick, they just got top 4. They went, okay, they got to the semi-final. You've seen Leicester run away with it, who had no other issues.
So Spurs sacrificed the
You know,
Europa League
yeah.
to have
I think it's gone now. I just don't think teams can. You look at the squads now, and you look at them, and you look at the benches, and you don't see it. You remember a time when teams had 3 or 4 world-class players on the bench at times, or top players. Teams just don't have that anymore. There's your 11, a couple more, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big indictment of where financial fair play's gone, or just maybe that's just players being spread out, or players starting to say, no, I don't want to sit on the bench and earn money because I can earn good money and play at Stoke or where Southampton or West Ham or whatever. So maybe that's a big part of this season.
That's an interesting shout, if nothing else. Okay, let us know your thoughts then. But let's just quickly take a quick poll. Well done, Paul. Flav. I've combined pretty much everyone's name in one go there. Yeah. Flav, best or worst Premier League season ever?
Best.
Ped?
It's not the best, but it's not the worst.
I asked you. I said there was no grey areas.
I cannot
want you to
give
define it simply as a best or worst.
I can't.
Well, you'd have to.
You make me out to be a liar.
Them's the rules.
And you're always doing this to me.
You do it to yourself.
I do not do it to myself.
Just say one or the other.
The best.
The best. There we go.
I'm going to say exactly what he says. I can't say it either way. Yeah, it's just it's not the worst, but I don't think it's the best. I think there's been other seasons where it's been the competition has been.
I just like to highlight this is the 29th week we've been doing this, yeah. And you've taken until the 29th week to get all serious on me. It's a very light-hearted issue. We're just having a bit of fun, best or worst. Oh no, well actually I'd like to consider the factors where you is. I couldn't possibly say it was the best because if you look at the middle table, well I don't think there was enough of a challenge.
That's an uncanny Milton Keynes accent if ever I heard.
Roundabouts, I don't know.
Burst.
The best. Absolute disgrace. I'm calling it the worst Premier League season ever, apart from Leicester.
Someone loves the comments.
Yeah, go ahead. Anyway, let us know, just simply best or worst. If you play along, yeah, in the comments below, best or worst Premier League season ever. And while you're at it, let us know what your favourite thing about this season was as well. I'm going for the Premier League champions, finishing 9th.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Can I throw something else in?
Go on.
Right, in the comments, sum this season up in an emoji. I just broke the internet.
Can you put the emojis on YouTube?
I just said you can.
So therefore,
or on Twitter @Ball Street. Sum this season up in an emoji.
Yeah. I have interest. What was your favourite thing about this season?
That purple artichoke.
The purple art.
I'm doing it in emojis.
Oh right, sounds.
God, Grandad.
But in words, what was your favourite thing of the season? I thought you were bringing the purple deal.
What was my favourite thing of the season?
Yeah.
2 things.
What? Literally? Can you just stick to the? No, go on.
2 things.
Have your 2 things.
Roberto and Tim skipping happily out of Everton Football Club.
Amazing. Is that 2 things?
Yeah.
Excellent. It sounded like one. But go on.
They did it separately.
Yeah.
One did it yesterday and one did it on Thursday.
Fair play. Robbie, what's been your favourite thing about this season?
It's got to be Spurs having their greatest season ever and still finishing below us.
Oh my God. See, if I'd said that, I'd be
Flav.
called bitter, wouldn't I? But when he does it, it's all right because it's Robbie.
I tell you what, I said it in a nice way.
I need to be a man like Robbie.
Don't we all? Flav, what's been your favourite thing about this season?
Just seeing how our club can actually rely on young players to a certain point in the season. to kind of to bring through youth, that you don't have to spend an untold amount of money, that there is a right way to do it. We saw it at Leicester. I think we saw it at Spurs to a certain extent as well, and I enjoyed that new experiment from Pochettino and Ranieri.
Can I just ask one question?
Go ahead.
When did Ladybird Clothing and Woolworths start selling men's sizes?
Yeah, it's interesting you should mention that, actually. What's the Mondo goal for this week?
Don't watch it. It's rubbish.
Anyway, yeah, I think for me, either Chelsea finishing ninth, it would have been nice if they finished a little bit. If they finished bottom half, it would have been absolutely perfect. But from a Liverpool perspective, we started the season with Brendan Rodgers in charge and didn't even dream that we'd have someone like getting Jurgen Klopp.
You dream about everything. What are you on about?
What?
You dream.
Some
Liverpool fans dream as much as John Terry cries. Which is quite a lot.
Is that quite
he's
a lot?
always crying, isn't he? Because some so-called hard man, he's always blubbering. The absolute quilt. Yeah, I'm not being funny, but what was he crying about yesterday? He's been offered a fucking contract.
Yeah.
What are you crying about? You absolute fucking specimen of a human being. Just sign the contract, play 4 games next season and get on with it.
There you go, on that bombshell. Keep your thoughts coming in the comments below.
Scoused.
Subscribe and like the page on Facebook as well.